So today we are here to discuss the introduction and the story Ishwaran the Storyteller, class 9th, from the book Moments. The writer is R.K. Lakshman. This story tells us about the story of a person named Ishwaran. He is called storyteller because he is good at storytelling. He is well versed in the art of storytelling. You all know that storytelling is an art and he was well versed in that. While telling story, Ishwaran uses special effects. He makes voice modulation, uses his gesture and posture while narrating a story to a listener, and he narrates the story in such a manner that the story seems to be real to a listener. That was his art. ये उसकी कला थी. किसकी? दूसरा कैरेक्टर जो है वो महेंद्रा है and he is his master. उसका मालिक है वो. ये जो ईश्वरन है, he was his caretaker. Mahendra, when listens to his story, he gets attracted and he is always involved in the story related to him by Ishwaran. Mahendra gets captivated and mesmerized while listening to the story of Ishwaran. मंत्रमुग्ध हो जाता था. कौन? Mahendra. In this story, the writer wants to highlight the qualities of Ishwaran. He was so good at telling a story that it seemed to be real to the listener. In the story, we will learn how the stories narrated by Ishwaran was source of entertainment for Mahendra. In the summary, today we will learn and discuss the first concept that you must know, that Ishwaran's story was told to Ganesh by Mahendra, who worked as a junior supervisor at different construction sites. कहानी को कौन नरेट किया है, कौन बोला है? Ishwaran's story was told to Ganesha by Mahendra. गणेश एक फ्रेंड है जिसको महेंद्र शेयर करता है एक स्टोरी. देखो, हमसे ऐसा घटना हुआ था. एक व्यक्ति जो मेरा केयर टेकर था, उसका नाम क्या था? ईश्वरन. उससे रिलेटेड एक कहानी तुमको हम कहते हैं. क्या घटित हुआ था मेरे साथ एक बार जब मैं ईश्वरन के साथ था. As Mahendra was a bachelor, he was comfortable living on any shelter provided to him by the construction company. Ishwaran was his caretaker and he accompanies him. उसके साथ जाता है जहां भी नौकरी करेगा. कौन? महेंद्र. उसके साथ ईश्वरन जो केयर टेकर था, तो उसके साथ उसको जाना होता था. Ishwaran was an advantage to Mahendra as he provided him company. उसका साथ निभाता था and it used to entertain him with his interesting stories. In the story, Mahendra says that Ishwaran was a good manager. He used to manage and gather all the things required to prepare his meals within no time. बिना समय गवाए तुरंत व्यवस्था कर देता था. कौन? ईश्वरन. कुछ भी जो आवश्यक हो मालिक के लिए. Every morning, हर एक सुबह, महेंद्रा would get ready. वो रेडी किस लिए होता था? To go to his work, eat his breakfast, takes his lunch along and go for his work. So Mahendra would get ready daily and Ishwaran would prepare breakfast for him, lunch for him. So when Mahendra used to go to his workplace, in the meantime, इस बीच में इसको वक्त मिलता था. किसको? ईश्वरन को. And he would clean his clothes, the living place, take a bath, his lunch. So जब मालिक चल जाए अपने ड्यूटी पर, इस बीच में ईश्वरन जो है उसके कपड़े को साफ करता था, घर को साफ करता था, take a bath, eat his lunch and read his favorite Tamil stories. And sometimes he would take a nap also in the afternoon. कौन? Ishwaran. In the evening, when his master would return from work, Ishwaran would entertain him with his interesting stories. Ishwaran was well versed in telling stories, as he would use his body gesture, his accents, his voice modulation in order to bring all the characters in the story live, as he narrated the story in a unique manner. And Mahendra would listen the story with curiosity, with interest. Ishwaran would start his story with an introduction. He would give a background of his character and then he would start his story. He described an incident in such a manner, इतना सुंदर ढंग से कोई इंसिडेंट को, सिंपल इंसिडेंट को डिस्क्राइब करता था कौन? Ishwaran, with detail, along with accents and voice modulation, that it would create a suspense in the mind of a listener. इतना अच्छा से कहता था कि मानो लिसनर के अंदर स्टोरी के प्रति सस्पेंस क्रिएट हो जाता था लिसनर्स के माइंड में. Once Ishwaran told Mahendra a story about an elephant that had escaped from a jungle and entered the town. एक बार एक एलिफेंट जो है वह भागकर जंगल से कहाँ आ गया था? टाउन. The wild elephant reached Ishwaran's school and it destroyed all the school property. Out of fear, all the students locked themselves in the classroom. सब डर से स्टूडेंट क्या किया? अपने अपने क्लासरूम में लॉक कर लिया. That time, Ishwaran was studying in one of the junior classes. Ishwaran आगे कहता है that he was watching the incident minutely from the rooftop. He took a stick, छड़ी लेता है, from the teacher and came downstairs, और नीचे सीढ़ी से उतर कर आता है वो the ground floor, and he walked towards the elephant and threatened him to attack. Ishwaran also says that he was not at all scared, वो बिल्कुल नहीं डरा था, and hit the elephant on its toenail quickly. This attack by Ishwaran stunned the elephant. Elephant fainted and fell on the ground. और जमीन पर गिर जाता है. कौन? Elephant. After telling this part, he stops. रुक जाता है वो. कौन? Ishwaran. But at the other side, Mahendra was curious to know the ending of the story. So what we see here, that Ishwaran creates suspense in the listener Mahendra. Mahendra was curious to know what happened next. Then further, Ishwaran says that a veterinary doctor was called, and that doctor brought the elephant back to consciousness. होश में लाया. कौन? After 2 days, a mahoth was called, and that mahoth took the elephant back to the jungle. Maybe it is a cooked story, but he is telling and narrating in a very unique manner that creates curiosity in the listener. Mahendra replied that he used the technique of Japanese martial art while attacking the elephant. So Ishwaran also says that he was well versed in the art of karate and jiu-jitsu. Ishwaran also says that he knows the art how to make a person or any being unconscious through his martial art. So every day Ishwaran would tell one or other story to his master, which provided his master lots of entertainment and fulfilled the absence of television or any source of entertainment. One morning Ishwaran, एक सुबह Ishwaran जो है asked permission to cook a special dinner. It was the day to honor the dead people of the family. That evening, Mahendra enjoyed a tasty meal. As Mahendra was relaxing after the meal, Ishwaran started narrating another story, and this time a special story about a ghost, supernatural power. Said that the factory area where they lived was earlier a burial ground. पहले यह जगह जहां हम लोग रहते हैं अभी कब्रिस्तान था. The very first day when they had shifted to this place, he had seen bones and skulls lying around. और आगे ऐड करता है महेंद्र ईश्वरन that he was not at all afraid of ghosts. On a full moon night, he saw an ugly ghost of a woman who had shrunken face. मालिक को कहानी कह रहा है कि एक मून लाइट में, फुल मून नाइट था वह मोमेंट जब वो देखा था when he had seen an ugly ghost of a woman who had shrunken face, जिसका गाल जो है चिपका हुआ था. When Mahendra heard this story, he felt uneasy and he even scolded Ishwaran, डांटा भी उसको, for talking such a nonsense. क्या बकवास तुम कर रहे हो? He said that ghost doesn't exist. घोस्ट तो दुनिया में एग्जिस्ट करता है नहीं. और ये भी कहा कि he had gone mad. पागल तो नहीं हो गए हो. Since that day, Mahendra felt uneasy, and now and then he would peep out of the window. यदा कदा वह विंडो से बाहर देखता था रात में, in order to check the presence of any ghost in the area. Mahendra woke up. He heard someone crying. किसी का रोने का आवाज आया. किसको? महेंद्र को. At first he thought it was cat looking for the mice. पहले सोचा कि बिल्ली का आवाज है, माइस का पीछा कर रही है, इसका आवाज है. As the sound became more loud, more harsh, more deep, Mahendra could not ignore, and that developed in him a desire to peep out of the window at that night. As he looked out of the window, he saw, क्या देखता है वो? White moonlight, बिल्कुल चमचमाता हुआ moonlight था. And he also saw a dark shadow holding a bundle in its arms. So as he saw the ghost, felt sweating. He started breathing heavily and he fell back on his bed. After some time, Mahendra thought that it might be production of his subconscious mind, and actually there was no ghost. He tried to console himself, tried to convince himself. He got ready the next morning for his duty, and probably he had forgotten that incident, what happened the previous night. But when Ishwaran early morning comes to him, he greets him. उसका अभिवादन करता है वो. कौन क्या बात छेड़ता है? What he starts discussing, that master had scolded him related to his ghost existence in the area. But last night he saw a ghost himself. Last night तो हम खुद देखे ghost. ईश्वरन कहता है. ईश्वरन had heard Mahendra crying at night. ईश्वरन कहता है हमने रोने की आवाज़ सुनाई पड़ा, शायद आप ही रो रहे थे. इस पर महेंद्रा कंफर्म करता है that he too had seen a ghost the previous night. So Mahendra gets convinced that in the area ghost resides, that place is haunted, and it was not trick of his subconscious mind. Once again Mahendra was frightened and scared. He left the place in hurry and he resigned the job also. He could not live in that haunted place even for a single day.